I'm Julia Davis, a film major who stumbled into the business world with no experience in 2006. I was able to fail enough to learn how to run a seven-figure business and have provided consulting services to over 200 individually owned companies. Through this podcast, I hope to provide some perspective on the growth and grit it takes to accomplish big goals and share some hard lessons I've had to learn along the way. Thanks for hopping back on the Growth and Grit podcast. I'm your host, Julia Davis, and we're talking about the 10 biggest mistakes that I made in my first decade of running a business. So we've already hit on a few different ones. If you missed those, they're in the past episodes. They're 3 to 5 minutes long. You're welcome to share them with whoever you think needs to hear that. Today, I'm talking about the next biggest mistake, which is mistake number 5 that I'm referring to here. And this is the mistake of beating up the bottom instead of praising the top. So what I mean by this is when I was new to running a business, I wanted to fix everything. So I would really take like the bottom people and try to make them better. Where I would go in the field with them, I would work with them, I would try to bring them up to average or bring, the slightly like below average up to like maybe average to try to boost my numbers. When in reality, that was kind of a waste of time because the people that weren't performing well didn't really care to perform well. They didn't really want to perform well. They didn't really see the value in performing well. So all that time and energy that I was spending on trying to bring the bottom up was a severe waste of time for me because nothing improved. So what I did is I changed eventually when I learned this, instead of trying to get all the people who were doing poorly to do slightly better, I started looking at the people that were doing pretty well or doing maybe a little bit like more average, but I saw a lot of potential in them and I started working with them to make them better. And what I switched was who I promoted in the morning meetings. Instead of like pulling everyone aside and like talking to the bottom, I was really praising the top. And that was more my personality anyways, was to give a lot of recognition and positive feedback. So it was easier for me to run a business that way, where I was taking the top 3, 4, 5 people and really giving them a lot of credit, even if they were brand new, and saying, wow, unbelievable. How did you do it? Share it with everyone. Tell us what you were doing differently this week versus last week when you didn't have a good week. Tell us what you can share with everyone else, and really pumping up that top person, going with them, seeing if I could make them even better, because the chances of a top person getting better and sticking, I realized, was far more possible than getting a bottom person to retain, somebody who was like a low performer. So if you find yourself doing that, or if you have your stats, like I talked about a few episodes back on having like accountability, who are you giving recognition to? If you're giving recognition to the people and you're poking, the people on the bottom, I'm indifferent. I'm like, look, if you want to improve, great. But my main attention, 80% of my time is on that top 20%, because those are the people that really are trying. They want to be here. They want to get better. They're trying to do their best. So I'm spending time with them in the field, outside the field, whatever you're doing. I'm helping them, fix whatever they might need. But I'm also giving them a lot of verbal recognition in the office, pointing people in their direction. And I don't care if they've been around for 1 week, 3 weeks, 5 months, doesn't really matter. What does matter is that their effort is showing, and good work should be rewarded, especially in an industry that's performance driven. So I challenge you guys to really think about the majority of the conversations you're having. Are they with people who are underperforming? And if that's the case, I would challenge you to flip that and have a lot of conversations with the people who are performing at a high level, and really put pressure on those people to perform at a higher level, right? Like, give them recognition, but I'm also really intense with those people, getting them to what they're truly capable of, because they're probably capable of more if they had someone coaching them, pushing them, and developing them. And that's where your focus should be. So I hope you found this helpful. Think about this the next time you're doing your roll call or figuring out who you need to hang out with. But really focus on that top percentage and drive and develop those people, and be the hardest on those people. And the bottom ones that just really don't want to perform, I'm going to put in as much effort as they are, which is little, and just kind of being pretty indifferent to that situation. I hope this helps. If you think it could help and benefit somebody else, please share this podcast with whoever you think it could help. Thanks so much for being on. Every week on the Growth and Grit podcast, we bring you real stories and practical tools to help you thrive through challenges. If this resonates with you, make sure you subscribe, follow, and share this podcast with someone who could use it too. It only takes a second, but it would mean the world to us, and it keeps you plugged in to fresh inspiration.